All right, stand for the pledge, please. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome, everyone. Tuesday, March 18th. Have the roll call, please.
Mayor Cedar.
Here.
Councilmember Gottler.
Here.
Councilmember Kufa.
Here.
Councilmember Laporte.
Here.
Councilmember Paul is absent. Councilmember Vols.
Here.
Councilmember Westrick.
Here.
Motion to excuse Member Paul.
Support. Questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? I'd like to have, get a motion to add letter D to new business to approve catch basin repair. We'll need a motion to that, please.
So moved.
Questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Well, number 4 is consent agenda, City Council minutes of March 3rd, 2025, regular meeting recommendation approved. B is the Cemetery Board of Trustees minutes of November 12th, 2024, meeting recommendation received. And then Harbor Commission minutes of November 23rd, 2024, meeting recommendation received.
Motion to approve A through C as presented.
Support with a question, if possible, Mr. Mayor. We have planning commission meetings. Are those just for our perusal, or are they intended for part of the consent agenda as well?
They are the draft minutes from the most recent meeting, so
Gotcha.
they're for the new business item.
Thank you.
Anything else? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? I think under number 5, we'll go to number 6, reports administration. Mr. Bishop.
Thank you. I apologize for my timing on this. I had sent out earlier in the day a water purchase agreement that we have on the books. And what this does is it's for bulk water usage. And I wanted to bring up just as a topic of discussion, and I went back in time, we presented this agreement to this council back in 2024, and the department heads actually came into the office and they said, we need to have a better look and make a more robust agreement because there's a few things that aren't included and we should include them. And so we had a great conversation. We went over the entire water agreement and we came up with these key areas, which then I turned back around to Attorney Downing and I had him do revisions and updates to. So I'd like to share those updates and revisions with you. I'm not sure if it calls for a council vote, but I would agree that we have a water agreement in place that's being operated with our bulk water users and also our private users, and I want to go over those details so we can button it up. So if there's any questions, let's talk through them, okay? So the first one that we had, and I apologize, this was in an email, but in the updated water purchase agreement, we updated the terms. The terms was just laid out very clean about when it starts and stops. This is a yearly annual term. So when somebody enters into an agreement with the city, it doesn't really matter when it happens. It's from January 1 to December 31st. And it matters because we have a fee schedule. We have a fee schedule that says that when you enter into an agreement with the city, that there is a fee for that. Well, the fee wasn't listed in the water agreement. So here we have a fee schedule, but the agreement doesn't speak to it. So we had to get that lined up. So it is $250, whether it's all summer long, whether it's just in the winter months, or it's a one-time private use fee that somebody needs it because somebody needs water for a road project and they need to draw some water off our hydrants. It's $250. So we outline that in the water purchase agreement so they know that when they sign the agreement and turn it in for approval, it comes with a $250 check. Okay? It's just spelled out more clearly. Again, every single time they do this, a meter needs to be on the hydrant because that's how we track how much water is taken. So a meter reading in the beginning and a meter reader after, and then we're charging on the per 1,000 gallon as we had in the past. We also had on the fee schedule something included called a hydrant meter fee for private use. Okay, so I want to read this, and that's the $250 part. So it's upon execution of this agreement, the purchaser shall remit a one-time fee in the amount of $250, or as it may be adjusted from time to time by the St. Clair City Council, which covers the duration of the agreement through December 31st. So this year, as it is presented, it's $250 for this calendar year. We can adjust it as we need to in the future, but as of right now, it's $250, and that spells it out. So we added to the agreement that specific number, okay? The other piece that we did not have spelled out enough was about liability. What happens in the event that the meter's on, or they're working with our meter, they're working with the hydrant, and something breaks? In that moment, what we're saying is that if a private company, for private use, or for a private company is handling our equipment and it does break, they are liable, and that's what they're signing up for. They are liable for the replacement and repair of that equipment. That was not spelled out well enough in the old agreement, so we updated the liability section. Okay? And then we also didn't have anything in exclusions. So we wanted to say, how do we exclude certain activities but make sure we permit others? For example, in the month of February, there were 10 draws from a hydrant. Now, after we flush the meters and we winterize them, right, it's more susceptible to breaking, accidents happening, meters breaking, hydrants being broken, all kinds of things. So the exclusion was this. We wanted to charge for that, because if we have to make a run out there and help somebody, or if we have to repair something, in addition to the $250 fee that we have in the very beginning and the liability that they have to repair it, if the meters have been taken off the hydrants, now they're off because it's wintertime, and there's winter work to be done, and that meter needs to go back on, there's a $35 daily rate. So it comes up, no meter on, I need to go use it for whatever reason, and I need to use it 1 time or 10 times within a day, it's still $35. And that wasn't outlined before, and now it is. So just as a quick review, all these things are in place, but now they're spelled out in the agreement. So I would just like to, if you have any questions, I want to beat it up, but I think this really kind of buttons up all the weak areas of the former agreement and brings it into light, brings it into shape. Again, we're highlighting the terms of use. It's January 1 through December 31st. We are aligning our fees with the agreement, being the hydrant meter fee for private usage. We are adding a liability clause to making sure the liability to repair and replace is that with the user and not the city. And we're excluding those, and we're making exclusions to say that if the fire hydrant has been winterized, the purchaser shall be charged a single daily use for a hydrant meter installation fee of $35. Those are the adjustments we've made to the water purchase agreement, and this would go out for private use. This would go out for companies who say, hey, we have a situation, we need to draw, I'm making a number up, we need to draw 10,000 gallons of water today. Great, we can issue the agreement, collect the $250. If the meter's not on there, we'll charge $35 for the meter install, and we'll go to work. A road crew that runs into a problem and they need water, and hey, we only need water for 1 day. Have the agreement, $250. If the meter's on, they don't pay the $35, but if the meter's off and we got to put one on, it's an additional $35. You see how that would go in those different scenarios? So that is the updated water purchase agreement, and I'd like to move forward using this one. Again, I don't know if I don't know if this is more of an FYI or if it actually has to be voted on. But we did clean up our agreements for the water purchase agreement.
Is that $250 fee a totally new fee, or is it sort of a modification of a fee that was in place already, or a clarification of that fee?
We had added that fee in 2024 to the usage fees, like to the city fees and schedules that we would approve for the 2024-2025 budget.
Okay.
And so it was approved by council in October 1, and now here we're in March, and now we're implementing. But when that was passed, this wasn't updated to reflect that fee. So
Sure.
It is new.
And as far as the dates of which we'll consider winter, when we decide to take the meter off, is that a set date, or is it just based on the weather and?
It has a large to do with the weather, but the DPW does have a schedule and when they flush hydrants and when they winterize hydrants. So, but it's, I don't know, October-ish maybe, November, depends on when it starts, to get cold. Yep.
I got a question. So the DPW is in charge of the meter then? Or they'll have the meter on and take it off?
Not every time.
Not every time?
Because where the meter was located in the industrial park, that was left on.
Okay.
Yeah, because.
I wasn't more talking winter time or.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, in the wintertime, if it's got to come off, especially if it has to be installed, there could be opportunities though, and we've asked this, and that's why we've added the liability. If somebody's going to be using the meter, and let's just say they use it 2 or 3 times, there is some reasonable expectation that if, I don't want the meter on there for 4 or 5 hours by itself. So if the person has to take the meter needs to go on, $35, but if they need to take it off, so we're not damaging that meter while it's in the cold when they're not gonna be back for another 4 or 5 hours that day, and it travels with them, we're saying the liability, that's why we added the liability clause to say, hey, if it doesn't come back in working order, you're charged for the entire meter. And that's about could be $4,000 or $5,000 meter.
So one more quick question. So I was reading that, so on a weekend or after hours, that's still this $35? Is that something right?
I guess it depends. If the meter, I guess the easiest way to think about it is if the meter's on it already, there's no $35 fee. If a meter has to be brought out or somebody's got to put one on, that's the $35 fee.
That'd be like the winter time or whatever, but let's say that they need it on a Sunday.
If it's
They
Sunday,
call
and
somebody in, or Saturday or whatever.
not necessarily if the meter's already installed.
Okay. But if
Sometimes
it wasn't, but it could change or whatever.
Yeah, like sometimes in the industrial park, that meter was left on over the weekend, and there was no issue there. But if it was taken off, and somebody called in and said, hey, I need to make a run out here, and I need a meter out at the industrial park, and we got to go put it on, $35. Yep.
Council did approve the original one, so for the amendments, that would be.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Clerk. I appreciate that. So Clerk Sturdy just made it, she made me aware that we actually did vote on that. So if we're going to update it, I think the appropriate thing to do would be to vote the updated water purchase agreement.
So I'll make a motion to approve the updated.
I'll support that.
All right, questions?
I guess my only question, I think, is down the same line as you were asking, Councilmember Westrick, the 35 daily rate, does that cover us in the wintertime if we're having to send somebody out from DP? Will they go on a Saturday in the winter to put the meter on? Is that an overtime situation? I'm just wondering if it's, the daily rate is sufficient to cover the cost.
They're typically scheduled. I can go back and look in the month of February, but I believe every day that it was used, it was a weekday.
Okay.
Big a question?
Bill Clement, 1374 South Riverside. I got a couple questions. First of all, how many contracts did you have last year for hydrant use, other than the gentleman that's here all the time?
We had one, I believe two active. One was off Gough Street, and then there was another one who needed it for a part of a road project.
Okay. My next question is the same with the meter. So you say in, say, November, you take them off when it's time to winterize the hydrants. Meter comes off. Gentleman needs to hook the hydrant, he calls the city, DPW comes out, puts a meter on. And if he's gonna take he's gonna be 4 or 5 hours, he can take it off, so it don't freeze. Then when he's done, the DPW goes back out and takes it off at night. So is the meter always in possession of the city when it's not on?
Maybe not all the time. If the same bulk water user, let's just say I'm just making this up, but let's just say they're building out there in the wintertime and they're topping off the water tower and they need access to it. And so the gentleman who's assigned, who has the water agreement signed, the liability falls with him. So if it's agreed upon to say, we need water during this time, we're saying, hey, we don't want the water meter to set on that hydrant for 4 or 5 hours during the day. The liability is with them. If they put it on and put it off, we're okay with that, but they are paying for it if it's broke.
So
the possession piece is, the possession could change hands during the day.
So the user keeps possession of the meter. So
For that usage, yeah, for that.
At the end of the day, when they're done filling the water, does the city actually go out, take the meter off, and re-winterize the hydrant?
Yeah, Bill, honestly, we haven't got to that winter part yet. We'll work out the detail on how we're gonna actually navigate that. We came out of it this time.
Well, I'm just curious, because if the guy pays $35 to have the city put it on, he takes it off, puts it in his truck, comes back 2 days later and puts it on himself, the city's losing $35.
No, we're not.
The city should be putting it on.
No, we're not. He's paying $35 again.
So how does the city know how many times he actually puts it on? I guess that's my question.
Okay, so they would know that, because the day that they're called in and saying, hey, we're drawing water in the winter, we have a record of every day. We require it in the wintertime, especially when there's no meter. They call in and say, we're drawing today. Okay, that's a draw day. So the meter's checked, number beginning, number end, that's how it's that's how it's calculated. But we know every day. That's why I know that there was 17 draws in February.
And he gets charged $35 every time he personally puts that meter on.
Daily use. Now, if he does it 3 times in a day, it's not 35, 35, 35.
No,
One
if
time.
he does it today, takes it off, puts it in his truck, and puts it on tomorrow,
Another 35.
another $35.
Correct.
And you know when that's being done.
Yes, I do.
And they're being billed.
Yes, they are.
And if he leaves the meter on, or anybody leaves the meter on and freezes and damage to it, or damage to the hydrant, they're responsible for it.
That's what I just explained. That's how it works.
Well, I was kind of confused on the meter part of it.
Okay.
Anybody else? All right, motion made, more supported. Let's call the roll, please.
Kufa?
Yes.
Laporte?
Yes.
Wolf?
Yes.
Westrick?
Yes.
Fowler?
Yes.
Cedar?
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, you have anything else, Mr.?
Yeah, I will mention one other thing. So if we're driving through town and we get to St. Clair Highway, there's part of that Seawall area. The roads starting to act a little funny, and I know a few years back that road started to do some funny things, and there was a little bit of repair to that. So we have a Seawall survey crew coming out this week, and they're going to be examining. They had to get the ice off the river in order to really do some depth and figure out what's going on there. They're going to be doing a survey of that seawall to see what a possible solution could be. Could it be that we tack on a section of seawall, drive it deeper? That might be one thing. Could we have a whole new section of seawall that we drive in behind that to bolster up the wall? That could be an option. But the engineers are working on that, and we'll have some more information after the seawall survey crew gets back. But that is definitely something that we need to address. In the meantime, I've spoken with DPW and said, hey, what are we going to do about the road itself? We're driving through here, and now you're starting to feel the bump a little bit. You know, should we cut a section of that road out, lay some aggregate and gravel, and tap it down, and then put a sign up, loose gravel? You know, is that a solution? Should we put a cone out? Should we shut the road down? These are all kinds of things that we're talking through, but a decision will be made relatively shortly. But first step is get the seawall survey crew out there, and we're going to see what's going on with the wall. Okay, that's all I have for this evening.
All right, thank you. Mr. Downey's not here, so we won't listen to him. Department, Jeanette.
Yes, a few things to share with council, and then one question. The city was awarded again Tree City USA designation from the Arbor Day Foundation for the 26th year. The city consistently meets the 4 required criteria, which includes a per capita minimum of $2. We are currently at $6.94, so needed to be highlighted there. Hillside Cemetery will once again participate with Wreaths Across America for the 3rd year and the 2nd year to participate in the sponsorship program. Please save the date of Saturday, December 13th. An insurance valuation report of tangible property assets, which is more commonly known as a city-owned property appraisal, was conducted, and this will ensure we have accurate information and adequate coverage. And the data is currently under review, and we'll use that during our MML renewal in a couple months. As you know, you recently approved a couple policies, including social media use and the ESTA policy. So we're going to continue reviewing our policies. It's a good time to review and update what's needed. Mostly housekeeping items, not anything that's really going to change what we're doing, just making it current. So look forward to that in the next couple months. And the question I have for you is regarding special events. So as of today, most of our new business are special events, which are annual events that we have here in the city. Would the council be open to adding some of these annual events to the consent agenda, unless there's changes or special approvals needed? Just to change maybe the efficiency of how the meetings are ran, we can put them under the consent agenda if they're annual events with no changes and everything is in compliance. Would you be open to trying that out, to change the format of the agenda, or would you prefer to keep them under new business individually? I'm open to either, I just wanted to suggest it.
I guess my feeling is that the way it is, I kind of like, because we take it one by one, and we can figure out and listen to the different traffic paths that might be changed, insurances, I mean, I guess.
Right. If there's any changes, it would continue to be under new business, but something annual could go under the consent. So, okay. we can leave it for now, just think it through, and if it ever changes, just reach out to me, because we can make the agenda as efficient as we want and change things around whenever you'd like.
All right.
All right.
Let it percolate a little bit on us.
Okay.
All right,
All right.
thank you.
Thank you.
Letter D is authorities and boards and commission. Anybody have anything? No unfinished business. Number 7, number 8, approve recommendation for planning commission, cargo 916 South Riverside. Mr. Bishop.
Oh, I'm sorry, I don't have my paperwork.
We do have a representative, well, actually 2 representatives from cargo here. If we need to ask the brain trust what's really on their mind.
The brain trust, I like that.
You have to get up there. Matt's not gonna do that.
This is the planning, so what we have in front of you is the recommendation for the planning commission. This is based on the meeting minutes that they held on March 12th. The meeting was called to order. Looking for the actual motion here. Here we go. So it looks to me that they made a motion and it was supported to move forward that Cargo Incorporated, Cargo Salt, the soda ash system is currently in use at their plant. And they make salt as unique to St. Clair. The treatment of the brine is proprietary, which is a critical first step in the process. And the equipment is currently located on the east side of 2nd Street in one of our existing buildings. The proposed project is to replace the silo and relocate the soda ash operation. Ash operation closer to the reactor tank. They need to replace the old silo because parts of the walls are thinning, so it makes sense to relocate at the time of replacement. And also by relocating the new silo, it'll help the process in general. We have 2 representatives here. I take it, are you somebody that's familiar with the project and what's going on with the
That's
planning
Ben
commission?
Slayton, he's a project engineer, right?
Ben. Yeah, Ben, if it's okay,
Come on out, Ben.
yeah, you're mentioned here quite a few times in the minutes.
You want to just give us a brief overview of what's going on here?
Yeah, sure. So, like Quinn mentioned, it's an existing process. It's been done, since the beginning of the plant. The system was originally installed in the 50s, so that's kind of, we've been due for an upgrade for a while. And that's kind of why the systems are kind of separated right now, because the actual reaction process was installed in 2007, and they didn't upgrade the soda ash system at that time. So it's a general upgrade, but the relocation portion of it is to really improve the process. So there's a few reasons why. We're going to shorten our piping. So currently, soda ash slurry is pumped underneath 2nd Street to our reactor tank from our existing building. That's part of it. That's actually kind of the main reason. And then the other part is having all of our equipment enclosed inside the fence of our property. So like currently the soda ash silo and a couple of conveyors are just out, open to the public. So the other half of it is kind of increasing our site security as well.
And what would happen to the old silo?
It's going to be demolished.
Okay, so it'd be removed?
Yep.
Wonderful, okay. And you mentioned that it's there's a new pump shed that will house the mixing tank and a pump and the air compressor. That all currently exists, except it's in the wrong spot?
Yeah, it's in our the building east of 2nd Street.
Okay.
Yep.
And so all those things will then be housed inside the fence?
Yep, yeah, in that new pump house. And then the old stuff will get demolished.
Okay, so Ben, basically, I think if I'm right, there's 2 things being built inside that fence. The pump house.
Yep.
And the new silo.
Yep.
And this has gone through, I'm sure your insurance company takes a look at this stuff to make sure that if something were to happen, you guys can get access to these buildings and do what you need to do?
Yeah, it hasn't happened yet, but that sort of thing, I believe, is like an annual review as far as like insurance goes. But yeah, I mean, internal reviews have been done on the design.
Anybody have any questions for Ben? If so, we'll bring you back up, but thank you.
All right, yep.
All right, I would entertain a motion to approve or
So moved.
Support.
motion made, support, questions? Let's call the roll, please.
Laporte,
Yes.
Bowles,
Yes.
Westrick,
Yes.
Scholar,
Yes.
Kufa,
Yes.
Cedar.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you, gentlemen. We would be approve authority board commission appointment. The Harbor Commission, with your consent, I would like to appoint Gary Hubert, Deanna Van Itstrom, and Doug Wilmot, each to a 3-year term expiring December 31st, 2027.
So moved.
Support.
Questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, let's get to our special events. First one is the St. Clair Little League Opening Day Parade, May 3rd. Chief?
The mayor and council, spring and summer are coming, so. First request is for May 3rd, Little League Parade. Step off from the high school at 9 a.m. on that Saturday and go to the Columbia Hall, and then they walk through the parking lot to the fields, and all their paperwork is in, and I recommend approval.
So moved.
Support.
Motion made, support, questions? I have one question, Chief. Do we close down Clinton Avenue out there, or do you just
We just shut it down for a little bit.
temporary?
Yep,
Okay.
we shut it down at Cox, and the sheriff shuts it down at Carriage Lane, so that they're safe until they get to the hall.
Any other questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? B is the St. Clair River Marble Eye Classic.
Yep, the annual Marble Eye Classic for May 16th through the 18th at the Boat Harbor from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. each day. All their paperwork is in also, and I recommend approval for that.
So moved.
Support.
Questions?
It is for 4 p.m. Friday to noon Sunday.
So,
And
all
it
the
is
whole time?
24 hour. There's a couple guys manning it through the night.
Okay. It's 24 hours all weekend,
Thank you.
bringing
Any
in the
other
fish.
questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? American Legion Memorial Day Parade, 526.
The annual Memorial Day Parade, May 26th, 1 p.m., starting at Vine and 6, going to M29 into Memorial Park for their ceremony, and all their paperwork is in.
So moved.
Support.
Questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? St. Clair Garden Club Walk, 712.
Their walk is scheduled for July 12th at several homes in the city and also the township. The one request they had is there's going to be some signs involved in their yards so that people know which house is on the walk.
So moved.
All right, motion made, supported. Questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
E is the Rotary Club St. Clair Turtle Race, 9/7.
And their annual turtle race, September 7th, Sunday, at the Rotary Park. They also request to be selling tickets the weekend of August 30th through September 1st and September 5th and 6th in Rotary Park.
So
So
moved.
moved. Support.
Questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we need to go to our, thank you, Chief. Our D that we added, the approval of the catch basin repair, Mr. Bishop.
I've requested that we added an agenda item, and this is for the catch basin repair work that's scheduled as part of the road work for the road improvement program. And right now, there's approximately 15 catch basins that are in need of repair before we can get started. And we're in a little bit of a timing issue. If we were to go and have a closed seal bid for just the catch basin repair, and then to work through that bid process, and then to get that work completed, our beginning of the road work would be pushing into potentially May and June, and now we're bumping into summer months. So what I've asked DPW to do is to pull together 3 individual quotes, and my recommendation would be that those 3 quotes be accepted and that the lowest bid be accepted for that work. Now, you might ask, why aren't our team doing that? Why isn't the DPW doing it? It's a timing issue. In order to get this work done, even if it was done by the DPW, we would run it, and we're starting the DPW season. We're opening things up in the city, and so for the DPW to get this work done and to get it done before this road's put in, then we're ultimately going to have a timing issue. And I don't want to run into that And so instead of going it out to a full bid, I have received 3 quotes, and I'm prepared to share those quotes with you if we decided that we would move forward and forego the closed seal bid for this portion of the project. Typically, we wouldn't do that. We'd just fix the catch basins. 1 catch basin, 2 catch basin. The fact that it's 15 throughout the city and whatnot, I'd like to isolate it, and I'd like to then get it all done. Another reason why our DPW would not be doing that is that our lead and copper program, to meet the expectation of Eagle to get the lead and copper investigations done, we need to be on averaging hitting 5, 6 houses every day, every other day. And we're taking the vac truck out, and that's a minimum of 2 guys. So, and if we find something that needs to be replaced, that could be bringing a 3rd person. Now, you add all that together, we would essentially run out of time for catch basin repair. So my recommendation is that we do accept the 3 bids that we have received for the work, we award it to the lowest bidder, and we get that work scheduled as soon as possible.
So any motion that it could potentially be made would be also, would say, to waive the competitive bid process and accept, if we accept whatever the low bid is.
Yeah, that's correct. And what Mayor's referring to is that within our charter, that anything that's over $10,000, we're supposed to get a closed seal bid for, unless the city superintendent, myself in this case, is making a recommendation that we waive that for the reasons that I just explained. So if we can waive it, we are able to do that, but the reasons that I gave need to be justified by you all to say, yep, that's a good enough reason to waive the bid and then to proceed.
So if we pass this resolution that we're waiving the sealed bid process, are we automatically accepting one of those bids, or is that another resolution that we take following this? Does that make sense?
Say that again.
Can we see the bids before we accept the bids? Right, that would be a separate
Will there
resolution.
be a separate step?
First, you need to approve the waiver for the process,
Sure.
and then
That's
the
good.
bids will be shared, and you will approve one of the bids that have been already received.
Very good, thank you.
Okay.
So I would like to see the bids. I think in this, time is of the essence in this situation, and so I'll make that motion to waive the sealed bid process.
I'll support that.
All right, questions about that? Call a roll, please.
Bowles?
Yes.
Westrick?
Yes.
Gottler?
Yes.
Kufa?
Yes.
Laporte?
Yes.
Cedar?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Great. Now we waive the competitive bid process.
Okay, we have 3 bids in front of us. We have bids from Thumb Coast Concrete, we have bids from Duluth Construction, and we have a bid from Murray Underground Systems. All were within a few $1,000s of each other. Thumb Coast Concrete was the low bid. This is for the catch basin repair for various sections of the city. So things on like 15th Street, 4th Street. There's a few on 4th Street. There's 3 on 4th Street, 8th and 4th, 10th and Witherell on the southeast corner, 10th and Witherell on the northeast corner, 422 10th, 802 Witherell, 4th and Witherell the southeast corner, 4th and Witherell the northeast corner, 117J and 209 South 10th Street. All 3 bids reflect the same work, using the same specs, using the same locations. The first bid that was the lowest bid of the bunch is from Thumb Coast Concrete for a total of $39,358.70. The second lowest bid was from Duluth Construction, $42,850 even. The third bid from Murray Underground Systems was $44,520. It is my recommendation that we move forward with Thumb Coast Concrete to perform the catch basin repair work as outlined by the bid spec sheet that they received and that they bid on, so we can schedule that work and have that done before we pave these roads.
So I feel like Thumb Coast has done some work for us.
They have. Okay. Thumb Coast was also responsible for, they have worked on catch basins in the past and some utility work. Their most recent job, though, was the work that was performed outside on M29, the sidewalk repair work. So you'll see, though, that was the crew that was out there that did it right in front. The laundromat, I think they did about 4 or 5 square out there, and then closer to the center of the plaza, right around right around Hamlin, right in front of Hamlin. There was a section about 2 or 3 square there that they removed and replaced. They have done work for the city before, and I feel comfortable that they would perform this work with quality.
When do you think they would begin work if this is approved?
If this is approved, we would call tomorrow and we would get them going right away. This work would begin in the month of March.
All right, I'll make the motion.
Support.
To accept
The lowest bid.
Coast at 39,358.70.
That's it.
That's been supported? Questions?
Bill Clement, 1374 South Riverside. When did the city find out they needed to replace catch basins?
This was done about, last week, the week before, that the catch basins they were going to need being repaired.
Well, it couldn't have been sooner, would it could have been part of the actual road project? That's my question. How did it, all of a sudden we find out? When somebody went and looked at the roads and determined what needed the roads to be done, how to be done, why wasn't it caught then and rolled in with the actual road project?
Yeah, that's a great question. It was not part of the road
I mean,
project.
I just, how did all of a sudden we find out we need catch basins? There, that's my question.
Thank you, Bill. Anybody else? Call the roll, please.
Bulls?
Yes.
Westrick?
Yes.
Statler?
Yes.
Ufa?
Yes.
Laporte?
Yes.
Cedar?
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Well, number 9, claims of the council, March 6th, March 13th, 2025.
Hearing no questions, Your Honor, I make a motion to approve as presented.
Support.
Questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Number 10 is public comment. Anybody, anything on their mind? All right, we'll go to number 11. Mayor and council. I'd like to take some minutes to mention Lynn Mason's passing. If you remember Lynn, she drove the senior van for us for years. She's a good girl. Had her in school, good girl. Passed away. Bad news. Also, what does council think about this 6 o'clock time slot?
I like it.
You like
I do
it?
too.
I do.
I don't have a preference either way.
If
Would
you
you
have a
li-
special meeting, it would be at 5 o'clock. Something to consider.
When I first came out, it was 7:30. We're down in the old museum down there. Those meetings went till 10 o'clock sometimes. But anyway, when we did this, I started thinking, maybe it would be nice to come in at 6 and be done before, especially in the winter. And just
Sure.
dark. We could try it. If it doesn't work, we don't have to keep doing it, but
Well, I think
you guys
we
want
should
to try it.
sure.
Sure.
I mean, if our
Correct.
rabid fans can still make it at 6 o'clock, that's my big concern, that we can make enough room at 6. We want to still see your faces out
All
there.
right, I'll need a motion to change the times to 6 o'clock.
I'll make
The
that
charter
motion.
just says we have to have meet twice a month. It doesn't give us the time. We can set the time.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, so starting the next meeting,
Yeah,
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock.
I'll support it.
All right. Questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
What a monumental move we just made. 6 o'clock, you guys. We'll give it a try. If we don't like it,
We're all going to be late to the next meeting, I promise.
I mean, I guess a question, the special meeting, can that be at 6 o'clock with the regular meeting at 7 after we make that change?
could do that too.
You'd have to have notice.
Yeah,
I mean, enough, plenty of notice.
yeah,
We'd have to post notice anyway if we were to do it at 5, so.
yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right, the board, you want to send us home or what are we going to do?
Sure, I make a motion to adjourn.
Support.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thanks, everybody. Be careful out there. Supposed to be a nice day tomorrow. Be careful. Be safe. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Ben.